What do you get if you put cabbage in wood chipper?
What do you get?
Sawdust.
Hi, welcome to Suburban Life Permaculture. I'm Holly, and we're so glad that you're here with us today. And today, I want to talk about utilizing stuff that you might think about putting in a landfill. For example, we needed to cut down some of these trees. Basically, we're pollarding them because they'll still grow back. And rather than dump it in the trash for the landfill, we're going to do something different. We're going to wood chip it. Great benefit of doing it yourself is that we know what's been used on these guys. No chemicals. We have a really decent wood chipper, so we know about what size we can use with that wood chipper. So better than discarding it, we're going to repurpose it. This is the permaculture way. So I promised you benefits. So in particular, the benefits of wood chips is because it's a mulch, and in doing so, what it will do is be a weed suppressor. You have to make sure it's a certain thickness, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it also hold in the moisture that you're going to want your plants to have, because they're going to be thirsty without it. And it's really good to protect your soil, especially if it's bare. That soil has a lot of little microbes and little critters in there that are good for your plants. And another thing that you might not have been aware of, and until recently I wasn't either, but if you have wild fluctuations in temperature, it can actually help regulate that. So it can be another way to protect your plants from those wild fluctuations. What kind of mulch can you use? You could use a rock mulch. It's not going to have the same benefits because you're not getting that biomass breaking down, but it is something that is helpful. For example, we put it around our olive tree because it doesn't like to have wet feet. And remember, wood chips hold that moisture in, so it would be happier with rock instead of the wood chips. And even if I wanted to, throw in some hay or straw, so it's not going to like that. You can go ahead and get just plain old wood chips where it's branches and tree trunks where it's just the chips, and that still has a lot of benefits. But if you can get, especially when you're making your own, you can absolutely get where it's the whole tree. You're using leaves and branches and the trunk. When you have all those different bits in there, number one, you've got full nutrition. It's all parts of the tree. And second, they're different sizes. So they're going to break down at varying rates, and it gives you kind of a time lapse or time release of your nutrients into your soil. Just a note, in general, your perennials are going to prefer wood chips, whereas your annuals will probably be happier with some sort of straw or hay mulch. Just be cautious with the hay. You can have more of a tendency of getting chemicals that you don't want to leach into your soil and thus uptake into your plants. Here we have a few layers of paper with the cardboard on top, and we're going to put the wood chips on that, about 3 or 4 inches. Let's talk about how we set this up. There are 2 different ways to do it, and we're going to experiment here and see what's best. I have kind of an idea from my research, but always best to get your firsthand research. What we have here is a pineapple plant that we planted, and we have several layers of just cardboard. Now, we've used cardboard on its own before without any kind of paper. and it doesn't tend to work out as well, but we also didn't use as much, not very deep of the wood chips, and we're going to go deeper with that. And here are our final results. We have this on our pineapple plant, and if you look just over to the other side, we have finished it up with the longevity spinach and the Cuban oregano trellis. It's looking a little sad, the Cuban oregano, because we had a cold snap, but longevity spinach is looking pretty happy. Now let's talk a little bit about trees, because what we were putting stuff on were ground cover, shrubs, things like that, and it really depends on the plant. So see right around the tree trunk here, this is our olive that I was talking about with the rock mulch. You want to try to keep the mulch around, away from around the main trunk, because you want to avoid collar rot. If you feel like life has just cut you down, just like these pollarded trees here, don't give up, because just like this tree, you could grow back stronger. So where can you get your wood chips? Well, for us, we just happened to pollard some trees and that we had some debris. So that's how we ended up with this batch of wood chips. But not everybody has a really nice wood chipper or one that can accommodate bigger pieces of wood and branches. So you might want to go with some other options. If you have friends, neighbors who are doing similar to you, and actually have what you need right now, some branches. You could ask them for it. You just want to make sure they're not using any chemicals on their trees and their plants for you to be able to use, because that might actually leach into the ground, or it may uptake into your plants. You may use places like Chip Drop, talk to local landscapers, and the like. Now, we're going to be doing an experiment, so I've actually done it a couple of different ways. The front trellis has just wood chips, nothing as a base, maybe minimal little bit of newspapers, and that's all. And then over here, we have several layers of cardboard. So we're going to experiment with this and see what works best, but my research has said that the paper works better, so we will go ahead and see. We've got a combo, we got nothing, and then we have just cardboard. So we'll let you know the results of that when we can. What do you guys use for mulch? Let us know in the comments below. And I don't care if you like, subscribe, or share. You do you. Carpe Diem, y'all.